mental health and mental illness is something that impacts us all. What made me want to become a therapist is just my own lived experience with being diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I was actually drugged to the hospital by my family, and that was something that was traumatic for me because of the fact that when I got into the hospital, no one in there looked like me. Like none of the doctors, none of the nurses, none of that. So I didn't trust anybody in there. And they just gave me a bunch of clinical jargon that went over my head. And I was just like, all right, whatever. It eventually led to 3 suicide attempts because I was self-medicating with alcohol and all of those different things. But that's what led me into becoming a therapist. And when I got into school, I started to realize that the stuff that they teach you in school is not something that'll work in my hood. A lot of times, some of the people that I have to get them to involved in therapy first and get them to trust that aspect first. And then I can start interacting with them with the different modalities.
You know, it's one of those things, I agree with you. All these diplomas on the wall mean absolutely nothing compared to my lived life experience that you cannot learn from a book.
You know, based off of a person's situation and their own experience with healthcare within their location where they live and reside, they may have other factors such as, well, I remember growing up and remembering a hospital where if you went there, you're likely going to die. Like having those kind of rumors for hospitals is like, yeah, you're afraid. So
when you have your grandparents and your parents telling you, don't go to that hospital because you'll die, that's PTSD. And we have to talk about how does that shape you as a human being from the time you were young? Is PTSD only reserved for soldiers, or do our Black and brown community, do we not qualify?
In the Hispanic community, there's kind of like a suck it up mentality. So a lot of times when you do face illness, there's this idea of like, oh, just get over it. So definitely there's a barrier in, you know, Black and brown communities of just like, let's interact as little as possible with healthcare professionals, whether or not that's done from a place of, oh, something might happen to us, or just from what's been passed down generation to generation.